If you don't mind giving me just 2 solid claps, a little bit louder.
I'm sorry, I took it off. I thought we were done.
Lisa, what's the soundtrack that plays in your head?
I went way off there because it would catch Ken.
We have very low statistical confidence in our state legislature, and yet we keep re-electing them. We have very low trust in government, but we don't do anything about it.
Voters want to change the system. Voters do not like the system. We're only going to get to 65% turnout in this election, and it was a very consequential election.
Increasingly over time, I'm seeing voters more and more discouraged, more concerned about divisiveness and extremism and polarization. I've never seen it this high.
The sentiment I am hearing at the doors, regardless of party, is that they're tired of the extreme candidates.
When you say that you don't want to work with a coalition, to me what you're saying is my party's more important to me than the people I represent.
When you look at the whole picture, and then you see that we have no one voting, that's, to me, kind of feels like where it has to start.
Although we've had a democratic system that has worked for, 250 years, I think that they're fatigued from that system.
34% of our voters are registered nonpartisan because they've rejected the 2 parties and they don't like the way the political system works.
I'm registered as an independent, not affiliated with the Democratic Party, not affiliated with any party, in fact. And so on primary day, I'm barred from voting, and the jaws just dropped.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says I have to join a political party in order to exercise my right to vote.
So when I ran as an independent, it's because no party can capture each issue, certainly not in the way that the people in my district are going to understand each issue. And so I very much want to run and operate as someone who looks at each issue.
Hello. Hi. Hi, my name is Lisa Feret. So I think when we talk a lot about ranked choice voting with people that are just learning about it, addressing that frustration is really important.
Ranked choice voting is just a tool to get us to where we want to be with politicians who are accountable to us, and that's what it does for us because they get voted in by the majority.
We talk about making our union a more perfect union. This little change in how we run elections may be a big piece of that.
Women were being told, you should run. It's what women need to do now. Women need to run. And so they would listen to that and they would learn how to run. And then they would go through the primary process and come out the other side, oftentimes having been harassed or threatened or being told to do things that went against their ethics or morals, and it was traumatizing for them.
We see a disproportionate amount of men running for office, and a lot of times women don't have the resources or the network or the time to run some of these campaigns.
When I was looking at open primaries with ranked choice voting, I knew what was going on in Alaska. And I was very hopeful that I was going to see women being able to run within pushing themselves arm's length away from the party and not having to get money from them, not having to repeat what they were being told to say, that they could run independently. Mary Peltola was that woman.
I know that I would not be in this position if we didn't have the Final Four system, because I would not have made it through a partisan primary.
So a council member literally looked me in the eye and said, that candidate is from east of the river. I don't think they can win with ranked choice voting. And I said, that's absolutely ludicrous. He said, well, who could do it? And I looked him in the eye and I said, me.
With the Final Four system, you tend to get people who are not establishment, they are not entrenched in their parties, and they're able to appeal to a broader group.
She did the exact same thing in the general election, out talking to all the voters, being super nice and friendly, not negative campaigning.
And we proved this with our campaign. If you put the work in and you knock on the doors and you stand on the corners and you go to the churches and you're at the grocery stores and you're at the farmers market and you get your message out to more and more people, then you make a greater impression and you will get the votes that you need.
It's about making sure that more people like me who want to work in the middle and work together feel like, hey, there's a voting system in place now. you should run.
I see anything that will have more voters voting and will get people into office backed by a majority of voters as a good thing. And I think it's the next best evolution to protect our democracy.
If you've got bad politics, if you've got corruption, more people need to be voting, and they need to be able to vote in a way that stops that corruption.
If we want to have trust in our government and we want policies that connect to people, the proper way, in my opinion and my mother's opinion, to express that is with a vote.
Our politics is very male encoded. It is very aggressive. It is very territorial. It is very warfare-like. It is very, I'm going to destroy you. Ranked choice voting is very female encoded. I need to talk to everybody. I need to coalition build. I need to make sure that we're all on the same page before we move forward. And I need to keep acting that way the whole time I'm elected so that I can get reelected.
We're trying to change things in what some people feel is a very radical way. I don't see it that way.
In short, I'm not going away.
I never doubted for a second you were going away, Sondra.
Ever.